Let me show you in this video quickly what I have just started to do with our lib-observability-golang library with the help of agents. My goal is to boot in the agent into the library and then do some documentation and then some important enhancements. So the library is here, checked out and already prepared for the agent's work. By the way, you find this absolutely transparent in our other AI agents central repository, which is basically a collection of rules. How do we write documentation? How do we do coding together? We will focus on the Golang coding rules, and yeah, just do it somehow. So I have added the agents files, which is just pointer to the central place which I just showed you, and my first target was some documentation in this library. The library also had already a README. We can still see the README here in the central stuff. This is it. So it is writing about what the library brings, blah 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 blah. But I also wanted to enhance this a little bit. There were some stupid things here, like we provided a test application in the code under integration tests. However, this application was not really a test. It's just spin up and do some manual checking, pull in the library and see how it performs in a realish application, but definitely not a test, and so on. So let's take a look and just read through the prompt together, because I think then we will see some stuff. So the first starting point or prompt was from my side. I wanted to create a documentation later we can use for evolving the functionality in this library. So this was the prompt. Please read up the coding rules and the documentation rules and take a look into the PKG folder where we keep the code, and tell me a summary what this library is doing. Actually, the agent did a pretty good job. I was on auto agent mode, which is probably used Composer in the background, but was pretty good result, the low cost. And here we go. See, we have the library, the description. Agent did it well. And then the first thing I asked from the agent afterwards, that okay, then please fix the README based on this. Then he created some stuff which was not good enough, so I started to realize I need to fine-grain more the thing. So as a first step, I asked the agent to document how the whole thing together into the architecture documentation. There you will find it here. It's there, and it is giving us a pretty good overview of what the library is doing. And then the next question is, which is actually very important, that we should split up any code into so-called features. Something I can imagine as a granularity, as a subject of further improving the code. And here in this library, basically we had two major areas for logging and for metrics. Some standardized things this library brings into that direction. So that was my idea. I wrote the agent this. And since this library contains two major areas, logging, metrics, blah, 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 this is my plan. So split up like this. But I also asked the agent that what does he think about this? Is it a good idea or not? Well, the answer was clear. Yes, it looks to be also, from the agent perspective, a right granularity. Then great, I just asked him to do this. And also before he starts to do this, because my subject was also touching the README, I brought up this problem which I just showed you here in the library, that although we had the test integrations, it it's not really a test. So it's just an example application. So I wrote this down to the agent here, and then asked his opinion about this. And yeah, I got the confirm again. So he recommended some approach to take, which actually I accepted. As a result, now we have a separated example folder here. And as a result, he also crafted a few unit tests for me, replacing this. And he had a very nice sentence here. So to give something also for the continuous integration, you see, some stable points. So the result was a few tests in a package. This is absolutely following our coding standards here, and I liked it, so we took it. And then this was the first increment. And what I told him as well, that okay, after we have finished with this step, please document this as kind of a review documentation, example, test, whatever plan MD file the agent did. In the meantime, I actually renamed that. So now this is called doc example tests. Here it is. So this is the summary of what we just discussed here. And this is an entry step. So at the end of these steps, we have analyzed the code, we have discussed how could we structure it better, and we have documentation of the architecture, the logging, and the metrics observability. Pretty nice, but concise, simple documentation. And since the library version was, according to the changelog, on 2.0 here, this is why I gave the file names 2.0, 2.0, 2.0 as a feature set. And this is where we are now. We will take another step now to enhance this library.